I watched Star Trek. I'm not gonna lie. I sit there watching Next Generation. I watched
Now,
the
I
Deep
will
Space
say
Nine.
this before we move on to this Tom Cruise story. One
Yeah.
last thing I will say about Frazetta was responsible for the art of a lot of the Conan comics in the 70s. However, and some of the book covers too. However, the creator of Conan the Barbarian was a man by the name of Robert E. Howard, who was from a little town here in Texas, who did not make it past his 25th year,
Hmm.
and was pen pals with H.P. Lovecraft.
Freaks.
And in fact, H.P. Lovecraft allowed him to use some of the great old ones in the Conan stories. Because H.P. Lovecraft was part of a group of authors back at that time period. Ambrose Bierce, H.P. Lovecraft, August Derleth, uh, Robert E. Howard. There was a group of like 10 or 12 of these guys that were writing pulp stories back in the early teens and 20s that had a letters circle. They would write to each other and they would share each other's stories. And that's how they built the mythos of all of their characters. So H.P. Lovecraft's great old ones are in the same universe as Conan's stories.
I didn't know.
And early Marvel comics drug a lot of Robert E. Howard and H.P. Lovecraft stuff into Marvel, which is why we have Conan the Barbarian in Marvel Comics.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
The more you know.
All right. I want to. The next few slides actually all tie into each other, so I'm just going to read all of them. Tom Cruise has signed a deal with Warner Bros. To develop original and franchise movies, which he'll star in. He will get an office on the WB lot with a production company. Tom Cruise has been cast as Hal Jordan, one of the two Green Lanterns in the DCU Max Green Lantern Freezing Earth. This is rumor, of course.
Yeah. By the way, I want to shout out my brothers in the chat. Chris.
Lovecraft was a huge racist and overcoming. He was a time traveler.
Dude, he was a weirdo from Rhode Island.
Those
Okay.
Go
those
figure.
fucking drugs that he took were out of this world.
Oh, no. That had nothing to do with drugs. The man was just thrown, okay? Like literally thrown. He was a horrible racist, but he was only literally because 90% of white people back then were, but he was terrified of air conditioning. He
What?
wrote a story called Cool Air. It was literally about him being terrified of air conditioning.
WB bosses are hoping to get Tom Cruise to develop Edge of Tomorrow 2, and Top Gun 3 is in the work. Script is currently being written. Joseph Kosinski is set to return to direct Top Gun 3. A lot of Tom Cruise news, and it all ties in to WB except for
Hey, I
Top
tell you
Gun
what,
stuff.
Jedi Johnson is loving this.
Of course he is.
Dude, I have to admit, for a sequel that took 30 years to make, Maverick was good.
You know, I think him having this partnership with WB, it gives for all the people last year saying creatives aren't going to want to work with them. Nobody's going to want to work with them after they canceled Batgirl and pulled some projects off of Max. You know, people were fake outrage that the internet does, and these kids do these days.
Look. I don't like David Zaslav, okay? I
No,
don't think he's
I don't like
handling
him.
things well. But dude had to make an omelet, you have to break some eggs.
Yep.
And they bought a company that was so far in debt it was not even funny. And I'm sorry, certain things fall to tax cuts. They just do. You have to recoup the 44 billion or whatever it was they paid for it. You have to recoup it somehow. And there's going to be projects that just don't get made. And I'm sorry, Batgirl was made under the auspices of the old regime, and the old regime in Warner Brothers was crap. Okay,
They greenlit everything that should not have been
they
greenlit.
greenlit everything in the kitchen sink, and that's the problem. If you don't have your Trinity, you don't have DC. Okay, if you don't have Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman nailed down, why are you making Blue Beetle? Why are you making Batgirl? Why are you making any of that until you get your Trinity nailed down? And the problem is they rushed too quickly into Justice League and should have allowed Zack Snyder to do what he had originally planned to do, which is to make Man of Steel 2 before Justice League.
That would have made more sense than a Justice League movie right after Man of Steel. You know,
They
it's the same. It's the
They
same thing.
literally shoehorned 3 different storylines into Batman versus Superman.
And who really wanted a Birds of Prey movie? Did we need a Birds of Prey movie?
The best part of Birds of Prey was Ewan McGregor.
And then the stupid name was it Bird of Prey, the Emancipation of Harley Quinn or something like that.
The glorious emancipation of one Harleen Quinzel.
Such a stupid title. Degrassi said DiCaprio and Bale also have new non-exclusive deals that Warner Brothers make of that what you will.
Look, Warner Brothers is never going to totally go away. Okay?
Nope.
You call it Warner Brothers Discovery now. You can say that they're either going to buy Paramount or Paramount's going to buy them, whatever. None of these studios are actually going to go away
No.
anytime frickin' soon. They've all been around, most of them for 100 years or more now at this point. They know what they're doing. Every studio is going to go through times where they're in the red. Okay? Every studio is going to suffer. And that's not because they're making bad movies, not because they're hyper woke. It's not because of that. It's simply because of the way of finances in the world. This is why we're seeing problems with the theaters right now. It's because you can just wait 45 days for something to hit streaming.
Yeah.
And honestly, you're in the comfort of your own home. You've got your own snacks. You're not paying $10 for a hot dog. Okay.
$10 or 15.
15 in some
15.
cases. I mean,
Where you get hot dogs from? There's 15.
There are
$15
some-
and 15 inches.
Well, no, there are some places where a single person going to see a movie, you're still paying nearly $40.
Yeah. You
Ticket,
can't bring a family. You bring a family
and
of 5,
refreshments.
you're freaking goddamn
you're looking at $300.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, parents are if you have a house full of kids, you're going to pick the movie that you go see in the theater isn't going to be something mom and dad want to see. They're going to take the kids to go see something. Okay? Mom and dad will wait for their movies to come to the house.
True.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not much different than what it used to be. There's just more eyes on it now. Okay?
Yeah.
There's just more eyes on it now because of social media.
You know, this deal and people are really hyped for Top Gun 3. I don't know if he'll make a good Hal Jordan or not. I don't know. I don't see him as Hal Jordan. I know it's a big name. Do they really want to put a big name as Hal Jordan?
Honestly, he's too old to be Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
Just being truthful, they need to get a guy in his 30s to play Hal Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I get why they're going to try to. I get why the rumor came out because Hal Jordan was a pilot.
Yeah.
He played Maverick. I see why that rumor hit, but to actually see, and look, I'm not throwing shade at him. Okay, the man is in incredible shape for his age.
Yeah.
And the fact that he still does his own stunts.
You know what? They should have got him, but the first movie. They should have got him Top Gun first movie. You know,
Yeah.
because you're right. Hal Jordan. How old is Hal Jordan? Like in his 40s? If you really think
Hal
about
Jordan's 35 when he first appears in the comics.
it. Okay, 35. Right. He's actually almost twice the age what Hal Jordan was.
He is twice the age of Hal Jordan. I think
Yeah.
he's like 62 now.
Crazy.
All right, let's move on. Enough news, rumors, and spec. Let's get to some comic book stuff before the other show we're going to be on later.